All right. Welcome, everyone, to the very first episode of the Global Facts Podcast. I'm really excited to have you all join us as we kick off this show
Yeah.
and dive into all these fascinating facts about the world.
Yeah.
We've got countries, we've got cultures, all sorts of quirky happenings, all the stuff we want to learn about.
It's going to be a blast.
Yeah. So for our very first deep dive, we're going to be looking at a place that I think a lot of people think they know well already.
Oh, yeah.
The USA.
Mm.
You might be surprised at what we uncover today.
Oh, absolutely. Even a country as familiar as the USA, you think you know it,
Right.
but there's always hidden surprises.
Exactly.
And with all this material you've collected, I think we're going to unearth some real gems today.
Yeah, I've got maps, historical documents. I think I even threw in some travel brochures in there just for fun.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, before we get lost in the details, let's start with the basics.
Yeah.
The lay of the land.
Okay.
We know the USA is big, but how big are we talking?
Well, let's put it this way. You can fit the entire continent of Europe within the USA's borders.
Really?
With room to spare.
Wow.
It's the third largest country globally.
Yeah.
And all that size translates to an incredible diversity of landscapes.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, think scorching deserts like Death Valley,
Yeah.
snow-capped mountains in Alaska, lush forests, rolling plains. It's all there.
So what you're saying is if I wanted to experience a European vacation without leaving the USA, I could.
Well, not exactly the same, of course, but
Yeah.
the variety is truly mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And speaking of mind-boggling,
Yeah.
consider this. The USA spans 6 time zones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, imagine you're on the East Coast,
Right.
enjoying your morning coffee while someone on the West Coast is still sound asleep.
Wow.
It really highlights just how vast this country is.
It's almost like time travel within a single country.
Right.
No wonder road trips are such a big deal here.
Exactly.
You can spend weeks exploring and still only scratch the surface.
Yeah.
Speaking of borders. Yeah. Didn't you mention the USA shares the longest international border in the world with Canada?
That's right. Over 5,500 miles.
Wow.
That's more than twice the distance from New York to Los Angeles.
That's crazy.
And that shared border has a fascinating history,
Right?
shaping everything from trade and diplomacy
Yeah.
to cultural exchange.
I can already picture the collaborative fence painting project.
Oh, yeah.
But in all seriousness, that long history with Canada is definitely worth exploring.
Absolutely.
Speaking of history, let's rewind the clock a bit.
Okay.
We've got some iconic moments in the mix.
Right.
The Declaration of Independence, the moon landing.
Huge.
But what about the lesser-known nuggets of historical trivia,
Yeah.
What really jumps out at you?
Well, how about the fact that the USA essentially scored an incredible real estate deal?
Yeah.
When they purchased Alaska from Russia in 1867,
Uh-huh.
they paid a mere $7.2 million. A
Yeah.
price that wouldn't even buy you a decent-sized apartment in a major city today.
Wow, talk about a bargain.
Yeah.
I wonder what the original real estate listing looked like.
I know, right?
Sprawling glaciers, abundant wildlife, potential for gold rush, all yours for a steal. But before we get too caught up celebrating that purchase,
Right.
we should acknowledge that this land wasn't exactly empty
Oh, absolutely.
when it was bought and sold.
It's crucial to remember that what we now call the USA was inhabited by Native American tribes for thousands of years
Right.
before European settlers arrived. Their history and cultures are deeply intertwined with the fabric of the nation.
Yeah.
And their stories deserve to be told and understood.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that there are always multiple perspectives
Mhm.
to consider when exploring history.
For sure.
Speaking of milestones, I can't believe we almost glossed over the Wright brothers
Yeah.
and their first successful flight in 1903.
What a moment.
Talk about a moment that changed the world forever.
For sure. And speaking of iconic symbols,
Yeah.
let's not forget Lady Liberty herself, the Statue of Liberty. A gift from France back in 1886.
Wow.
She stands as a beacon of hope and freedom, welcoming newcomers to American shores.
It's amazing how these seemingly simple facts
I know it.
can connect us to such significant events and ideas.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered some ground
Literally.
with geography and history.
Yeah.
But now I'm curious, how does all that size and history shape the USA's political system and its cultural identity?
That's a good question.
It's a country known for its fierce independence and diverse population. So I imagine there's some interesting dynamics at play.
You're right, there are. And one of the things that sets the USA apart is that it doesn't have an official language.
Really?
Yeah. This might surprise some people,
Yeah, that's surprising.
but it reflects the country's history as a melting pot of cultures and languages.
So no official language, huh?
Ah.
That makes those high school language classes even more impressive.
Uh-huh.
But you're right. It speaks volumes about the country's immigrant heritage and its embrace of diversity.
Yeah.
And speaking of embracing things,
Huh.
what's more American than baseball Thanksgiving cheeseburgers?
Oh, come on.
And dare I say, even McDonald's.
Those are definitely some quintessential American icons.
Right.
But let's not forget the influence of Hollywood and Broadway.
Oh, yeah?
They've played a massive role in shaping global entertainment and perceptions of American culture.
That's true. From blockbuster movies and TV shows to Tony Award-winning musicals, American entertainment has a reach that extends far beyond its borders.
It really does.
It makes you wonder, what image of America do these exports project to the rest of the world?
That's a great question, and one we could probably spend an entire episode discussing.
Yeah.
But for now, let's shift gears and focus on those iconic landmarks that draw visitors from all over the world.
Okay.
Where do we even begin? The USA is overflowing with must-see destinations.
Right. We've got natural wonders, towering skyscrapers, historical monuments.
It's endless.
The list goes on and on. But if we had to pick a few highlights, where would you steer our listeners first?
Well, for starters, how about Yellowstone National Park?
Oh, yeah.
It was the world's very first national park, established back in 1872.
Wow.
It's a testament to the USA's early commitment to conservation and a treasure trove of natural beauty.
Yellowstone is definitely on my bucket list.
Yeah.
The geysers, the hot springs, the wildlife.
It's incredible.
Sounds absolutely incredible.
It is.
And it's amazing to think that it was the first of its kind.
Yeah.
What other landmarks have that kind of first or biggest status?
Well, how about the Empire State Building?
Oh, yeah?
It was the tallest building in the world for over 40 years.
Wow.
After it opened in 1931.
Hmm.
And while it's been surpassed in height since then,
Right.
it remains an architectural marvel and an iconic symbol of New York City.
I can picture it now, King Kong clinging to the top, airplanes buzzing around.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely got that classic Hollywood appeal.
Mm-hmm.
What else have we got?
Let's not forget about the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, of course.
It's arguably one of the most photographed bridges in the world. It's beautiful.
Instantly recognizable with its vibrant orange hue and stunning setting.
Yeah.
It's a true testament to American engineering
Right?
and a symbol of the country's westward expansion.
I have to admit, I've got a soft spot for the Golden Gate Bridge. I visited it a few years back.
Did you really?
Yeah, and even though it was completely shrouded in fog that day, there was something magical about it. It was like stepping into a postcard.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's definitely a place that captures the imagination. And while we're talking about iconic structures, how about Mount Rushmore?
Oh, yeah.
Those massive presidential portraits carved into the granite face of a mountain
Yeah.
are truly awe-inspiring.
Speaking of awe-inspiring, it makes you wonder, if we were to add a fifth face to Mount Rushmore today, who would it be? What do you think?
That's a great question.
That's something for our listeners to ponder.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we've covered some incredible ground in this episode already.
Are you ready to dive into part 2 of our exploration of the USA?
Absolutely. There's still so much more to discover about this fascinating country.
Okay, great. Let's keep going then.
All right.
We'll be right back with the second part of our deep dive into the USA.
All right. Welcome back to the Global Facts Podcast. It's amazing how quickly time flies when you're uncovering fascinating facts.
It really is.
Before the break, we were discussing some of the USA's most iconic landmarks.
Right.
And, certain places become so deeply ingrained in a country's identity
Yeah.
that they practically become synonymous with it.
Yeah.
When you think of the USA, what comes to mind?
Well, for me, it's hard to picture the USA without thinking of Times Square in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
The so-called crossroads of the world.
Crossroads of the world.
The bright lights, the giant billboards,
Yeah.
the sheer energy of the crowds.
It's intense.
It's definitely an experience that stays with you.
It really does.
Have you ever been?
Actually, I have.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those places that truly lives up to the hype.
I bet.
And speaking of places that embody the spirit of the USA,
Yeah.
we can't forget about the United States Capitol building in Washington, D.C.
Right.
This is where the heart of American democracy beats,
Yeah.
where Congress meets to debate and shape the laws that govern the nation.
It's a symbol of the balance of power,
Mm-hmm.
with its two chambers representing the Senate and the House of Representatives.
That's right.
And architecturally, it's a masterpiece. That iconic dome
Oh, it's beautiful.
is instantly recognizable. It
Yeah,
really embodies the grandeur and ambition of the nation's founders.
absolutely. And while we're on the topic of grandeur,
Okay?
let's shift gears to a natural wonder
Right.
that straddles the border between the USA and Canada,
Oh, okay.
Niagara Falls.
Oh, wow.
It's a truly awe-inspiring sight with millions of gallons of water cascading over the cliffs every second.
Niagara Falls is definitely one of those natural wonders that has always been on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Kind of place that makes you realize just how powerful nature can be. Speaking of bucket list destinations,
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of people associate the USA with another kind of wonder,
Okay.
the magic of Disney World in Florida.
You're absolutely right.
Right.
It's the most visited vacation resort in the world,
Wow.
attracting millions of families and Disney enthusiasts every year.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to see why. It's a place where imagination runs wild and childhood dreams come true.
It's a testament to the power of storytelling
Mm-hmm.
and the enduring appeal of those classic Disney characters.
Absolutely. But let's not forget about those architectural marvels
Right.
that stand as testaments to human ingenuity.
Right.
How about the Gateway Arch in St. Louis?
Oh, yeah.
That soaring archway is a sight to behold.
It is. It certainly is.
The Gateway Arch is actually the tallest arch in the world,
Really?
standing at a towering 630 feet.
Wow.
And it's not just an impressive structure, it also has a deep historical significance,
Oh, okay.
symbolizing westward expansion and the pioneering spirit of the USA.
As we explore these landmarks and delve into their stories,
Yeah.
it really highlights how much the USA has contributed to global culture technology and even our understanding of the natural world.
You're right. From its groundbreaking scientific discoveries to its iconic entertainment industry, the USA has played a significant role on the world stage,
Right.
shaping trends and inspiring innovation in countless ways.
And it's a country that continues to evolve and surprise us.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, I think we've covered some incredible ground in this episode.
It really have.
Are we ready to dive into the final part of our exploration of the USA?
Absolutely. There's still so much more to discover about this fascinating country.
Great. Let's take a short break, and we'll be right back with the final part of our deep dive into the USA. Welcome back to the Global Facts Podcast. I hope you're ready for the final part of our journey through the USA. We've covered so much ground already, from vast landscapes and historical milestones to cultural icons and architectural wonders.
Yeah, we've barely scratched the surface.
But there's still so much more to explore.
There is. And, one of the things that continues to fascinate me about the USA is its relentless pursuit of innovation. It's a country that's always pushing boundaries, whether it's in technology, science, or even the arts.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about Hollywood and Broadway,
Right.
but let's not forget about Silicon Valley, the birthplace of countless technological breakthroughs that have shaped our modern world.
Oh, yeah.
From the first personal computers to the rise of social media and everything in between,
Yeah.
Silicon Valley
Yeah.
has been at the forefront of the digital revolution.
It's a place where brilliant minds come together to turn ideas into reality, constantly pushing the limits of what's possible.
Right.
And speaking of pushing limits,
Yeah.
we can't overlook the USA's contributions to space exploration.
Yes, the final frontier.
The USA was the first country to land humans on the moon, and its space program continues to make groundbreaking discoveries that expand our understanding of the universe.
Right, from the Apollo missions to the Hubble telescope and beyond.
It's inc-
The USA has played a pivotal role in advancing our knowledge of space and inspiring generations of scientists, engineers, and dreamers.
It really has.
It's a legacy of exploration and scientific achievement that continues to this day.
It does.
It's incredible to think about how far we've come in such a relatively short amount of time.
I know it.
But it's also important to acknowledge the complexities of American history.
Mm-hmm.
We've touched on some of the highlights, but there have also been challenges and struggles along the way.
You're absolutely right. The USA's history is a tapestry woven from both progress and setbacks, triumphs and tragedies.
Right.
It's a story of resilience, adaptation, and the ongoing pursuit of a more perfect union.
It's a reminder that history is never a simple narrative.
Nope.
It's about understanding the nuances,
Mm-hmm.
the different perspectives, and the ongoing evolution of a nation.
Exactly. And it's through embracing this complexity that we can gain a deeper appreciation for the richness and diversity of the American experience.
Well said. As we wrap up this deep dive into the USA, I'm struck by how much there is to discover and learn about this vast and dynamic country. We've only scratched the surface.
It's true, from its sprawling landscapes to its vibrant cities,
Yeah.
its rich history to its innovative spirit, the USA is a nation that defies easy categorization.
It's a land of contrasts, where tradition meets modernity,
Yeah.
where individual freedom intersects with collective responsibility,
Right.
and where the past continues to shape the present.
Yeah.
And as we've seen today, it's a country that has left an undeniable mark on the world.
Absolutely. And it's a country that continues to evolve and surprise us. So to our listeners, I leave you with this final thought.
Okay.
What other hidden gems and untold stories are waiting to be discovered about the USA? We encourage you to keep exploring, to challenge your assumptions, and to embrace the complexities that make this nation so fascinating.
Thanks for joining us on this inaugural episode of the Global Facts Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the USA. We've only just begun to explore the incredible diversity and wonder of our world, and we can't wait to share more fascinating facts and stories with you in our next episode. Until then, keep those global facts coming.